Hi everyone, I'm Stu.
I'm Sarah, and welcome back to the 350 Bird Challenge.
Our adventure in Arizona continues. In this episode, we're going to be exploring canyons and lowlands in the Sierra Vista region. Come on, let's go birding. And where are we this morning, Sarah?
So we're going to a couple of stops along the San Pedro Riparian Trail. Right now we are near the Hereford Bridge.
Let's take a look around this grassland habitat. Well, maybe Sierra Vista doesn't make too many tourist travel lists, but for birders, it's bucket list material. This little town sits near some of the most bird-rich habitats in the US, where desert, grassland and mountain canyons meet to host an incredible mix of bird species. Our previous video was filmed in the Portal area, and we have now travelled west to Sierra Vista for a couple of days, where we'll visit locations like San Pedro House and Ramsay Canyon. For now, we are visiting the Hereford Bridge trailhead. We began by walking south, which was not the best way to go, it turns out. We did see some white-crowned sparrows, and a small flock of American goldfinch moving through. eBird considers this a rare sighting. The lesser goldfinch is the more common species here. Okay folks, I think we took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. We've turned around and come in the opposite direction, which leads us to a creek. You can hear a lot more birdsong down this way. Just saw another chat. I don't need to see any more chats. Another chat. Indeed, the better birding is in this wooded area that lines the creek. Having turned around, we spotted these ladder-backed woodpeckers, which we hadn't seen for a few days in Arizona. We were able to get an ID on this Empidonax flycatcher because it vocalised several times. It's a dusky flycatcher and a lifer. And just nearby, another lifer, Bell's Vireo. Very fleeting views. Approaching the creek, we got our best views so far of a vermilion flycatcher dressed in blazing crimson red with charcoal-coloured wings. Tons of bird song here. You can probably hear it in the background. Can't get everything on camera, but there's Black Phoebe, Yellow Warbler, Wilson's Warbler, Orange-crowned Warbler. We're hearing ground dove, which we still need, but we're not seeing it yet. Black Phoebe, if I didn't say that already.
I think you did. Black-headed grosbeak.
It was also pretty gorgeous views down here. A common yellowthroat taking a quick pause before it returns to hunt over the slow-moving water. Just then, we heard a hawk calling. That is the sound of a grey hawk, which is on my top 10. We searched along the creek, but with other places to visit, we had to call off the grey hawk search, for now. We had to turn back towards the car. Check out these desert leafcutter ants running in line across the parking lot. They're collecting plant debris for their nest in order to cultivate fungus, which they then eat. They're like little miniature farmers working for the good of the colony. Next up, we'll be visiting the nearby San Pedro House. We have moved on, Sarah, to
San Pedro House.
Between the last stop and this stop, we've not seen too much new, but we have got really nice looks at birds, like really close to vermilion flycatcher for the first time. We did just get a blue grosbeak as well, though. Here's that male blue grosbeak with deep cobalt blue plumage and chestnutty brown wing bars. These are our best views of the species since we visited Florida and saw it at a distance. Many of you will already know that reds, oranges and yellows in bird plumage come from pigments within the feather, and many of you will also know that blues like these in the grosbeak, they're not pigments at all, they're the result of microscopic feather structures that scatter light in just the right way, so only the blue wavelengths reach our eyes. What you may not know is that there is more to this than reaches the human eye. ultraviolet light is also scattered, and the overall picture that maybe a female grosbeak might see gives it a fuller indication as to how healthy and fit this male blue grosbeak is, based on her impression of the structural integrity of those light scattering feathers. Speaking of feathers looking fancy for the ladies, here's my friend the Townsend's warbler having a bath. Birds spend a good part of their day preening, bathing, oiling and fussing over every feather. Some studies even say that they spend more time grooming than a modern day boy band, and the Townsend's warbler doesn't even have Instagram. As you can hear, the wind today was really annoying, but we persevered for now. Before the break, we shared our best vermilion flycatcher views, but here we go with even better ones. The wind was also annoying for hummingbirds, who weren't as plentiful today, but this broad build put on a bit of a show for us. We got super excited when we saw this hummingbird with an orange neck, thinking it might be a Lucifer's hummingbird, but it turns out it's a female black-chinned, and the orange on the neck is just pollen. She's just a mucky eater. I think we need to find somewhere that might be a little bit more sheltered.
I think with the heavy wind we're going to head towards some canyon birding and try there, hopefully in a bit more shelter. Those of you who watched the last video from Arizona will know that we saw an elegant trogon. That was a pretty exciting moment. I had to buy the pin badge. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know I have a coat that I wear in the spring and fall that has a few of my favourite birds pinned onto the sides. So that's going to be the newest edition. Stay tuned, we'll be back after the break. We're going to make the drive to one of the canyons in the area.
The camera doesn't do it justice, but be aware that many of the canyons here have extremely rocky, bumpy and narrow roads.
Okay everyone, we have come to Miller Canyon, and we have reason to believe that there's a pretty cool bird somewhere along the trail here, Sarah.
So we have heard reports of flame-coloured tanagers.
That would be an epic lifer. Hopefully we can find it. Looks like it's maybe a mile down here. We'll take a look.
To get to the spot we needed meant a bit of a hike. To get to Miller Canyon means taking East Miller Canyon Road as far as the Miller Canyon upper parking. The number of spaces is very limited, so aim to be there early. For a cash donation, you can cut through BT's Guest Ranch in the centre of the screen, which also has hummingbird feeders that we'll visit later. Alternatively, you can loop around the ranch using the trail shown at the top of the screen. Our mission is to hike up the canyon to where the flame-coloured tanager was last seen, somewhere around here. We began hiking towards some GPS coordinates that had been provided in an eBird report. It's cool to see the dappled forests that form in these canyons compared to the lower elevation deserts, and the shade is quite nice too. We took a couple of wrong turns to be honest, but after a slow walk of about 1 mile, these abandoned buildings marked the general area where the bird was last seen. And so we waited around, and listened, and waited some more. We spent about 30 minutes circling the area altogether, mostly just kinglets and Wilson's warblers to keep us company. And this silver-spotted skipper, which is extremely widespread, though more so in the east of the country. It's one we're very familiar with back in southern Ontario too.
Well, I think this flame-coloured tanager is probably going to be a bust.
Well, might have been asking a little much to get both an elegant trogon and a flame-coloured tanager in the same trip.
Yeah, trogon's the one we came for, or the one I came for anyway. Some of the birders were here just before us, and they said they saw it fly past in the canyon, just a flash of red. So even if that did happen to us, chances of getting it on camera are pretty slim, but we'd still take seeing it, I guess. We did get a thrush in the canyon. We think it's the Swainson's thrush. That's new for the year. We're going to start heading back down again, I think.
Actually, we saw several Swainson's thrush, and here's one of them. They were silent today, but they have a song that is said to spiral upwards. The trees had protected us from the wind for now. Once back down from the canyon, the wind became a frustration again. as clearly demonstrated here. Let's take a look at the hummingbird feeders anyway. There was a seating area with several feeders handily numbered so you can call out any sightings hanging from the trees ahead of us. Very close views of a painted redstart acting as an opportunistic nectar thief, bold white flashes of plumage on a contrasting black body and red on the breast and belly. A common bird here, but cute looking nonetheless. Here's a broad-tailed hummingbird which we saw from behind in the last video. That black gorget shows up as a light reddish colour when the light hits. It's not cooperating in this clip, but I was able to capture it in a photo. This one has a magenta red gorget, and that colour extends up to the head too. Anna's hummingbird.
Here's a bird. Does it count, Sarah?
No.
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
Join us after the break. We're going to visit Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary. Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary is another place that has a kind of garden area that you can visit and view bird feeders up close. It's a few canyons over, about a 20-minute drive. Bear in mind that the parking is a little limited, but there's lots of feeders here in several viewing areas. As with many of these feeder viewing areas in southern Arizona, please give a donation towards their upkeep. We've picked up a lot of birds in this series, so we're bound to get a few repeats. Here's some highlights though, including a ladder-backed woodpecker gorging on an orange. Closer views of the vibrant coloured western tanager, trying to figure out how best to get some jelly. There we go. This one was quite showy for us. Finally, nice views of a male lazuli bunting. We've been looking for one throughout the trip because we'd only seen females up until this point. Nice colours with light blue and a rusty red splash across the chest. We do have a lifer to tell you about as well. An oriole with jet black head, back and breast, making this a Scots oriole. He's been hiding around for a while until he came out and I got this shot.
We just spent about 2 hours at Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary. It's another one of these places where you can sit and watch feeders. We did get Scott's oriole, so that's really good as a lifer, but it's otherwise still very windy and it's been a bit of a difficult day really, between the wind, missing out on that flame-coloured tanager. Well, we still picked up a handful of species today, so that's always good after spending a week here, but for the time being I think we're going to end the day a little bit earlier than we normally would, and we can see from the weather forecast that the wind situation is going to be better tomorrow. So let's take a break here, we'll go back to the hotel and, you know, go through all of our footage and pictures and all that kind of thing, and do a grocery store run and all that boring stuff that you don't want to see. So we'll see you after the break.
Well, the wind still wasn't great the next morning, making it hard to film, so here we are giving you a wave instead. This morning we're at Ramsay Canyon to the north of Ash and Miller Canyons that we visited yesterday. It was a slow morning as birds like this black-throated grey battled the breeze. We did start hearing this call. The fairly distinct call of a greater peewee, so we tried to track it down. Eventually got it, a lifer greater peewee. We're towards the northern edge of its range here, but it's another of those birds that is tempted into the canyons and the sky islands of Arizona pine forest. Its call is quite distinct and it travels pretty well along the canyons. Another cool bird was this sulphur-bellied flycatcher, and we're also at the northern edge of this bird's range. This is one large flycatcher, and you can see the rusty colours in the tail here. The front is a pale yellowy colour with streaks. Aside from a few Impidinax flycatchers that we couldn't identify and a few more Swainson's thrushes, that was the extent of our birding at Ramsay Canyon, so we decided to try somewhere else.
Well, so far our trip to the Sierra Vista region has been a little bit hampered by wind, so if you're not satisfied enough with the number of birds we've shown in this video, bearing in mind we're not repeating the species too many times, maybe go back and watch some of the older videos from Arizona where we really got through a lot of different species. Having said that, we've come to a stop that we visited yesterday, now that the wind has died down a little bit, to see if we can pick anything else new up. Sarah, where are we?
We're at Pedro House.
There's currently a school trip near to the actual house itself and the gardens, so that gives us an excuse to come down to the river, which we didn't do last time.
Almost immediately along the trail, we spotted a lifer. This is a black-throated sparrow, and we were pretty happy to see it. There are half a dozen specialty southwestern sparrows, and we were pretty aware that we hadn't seen any of them up until now. This one has very neat contrasting facial patterns and a very black throat. Down by the almost dried up river, we heard a couple of interesting birds that I'll talk about shortly, but after searching for a while, we just saw Wilson's warblers, common yellowthroats, song sparrows. On our way back out, we saw a bird that Sarah almost put onto her top 10 list of Arizona most wanted birds, but she ended up choosing Phenopepla ahead of this bird, the Pyrrholoxia, a type of cardinal, and it's the only other cardinal, along with the northern cardinal, that is found in North and Central America.
We're not super far away from where we started this video, Hereford Bridge, where we heard the grey hawk, and we've heard it again just now. We've spent quite a bit of time looking for it. Unfortunately, still didn't find it, but we have future opportunities to try to find that. Another pair of birders thought they heard a red-faced warbler. Wow, we want that one. We have future opportunities to try and find that one too. We did pick up a handful of lifers in this video, but it's otherwise been quite high effort. I'm sure if you come and visit Sierra Vista, you'll do better than we did. But we have already seen a ton of birds, and actually at this point I should probably point out that we think that we've broken the 100 birds that we wanted to see on this trip. We don't know our exact numbers as we film this, because we still have some identifying and some footage to review. But you'll know from watching that dial in the corner of the screen, and maybe I'll put a caption on the screen now too. In the meantime, I think that's it for this video, but where are we heading for the next, well, tomorrow, Sarah?
So tomorrow we are heading to Patagonia.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. As I mentioned, grey hawks, they've been seen around there, and hopefully we'll pick up a bunch more species. To be honest, we're at just past the midway point of the trip and we're a little bit pooped, full on birding every day from dawn until almost dusk, often staying in a hotel for only one night before moving on, packing everything up and all that kind of thing. But we'll try to revigorize ourselves for tomorrow. Stay tuned to the channel, we'll be back with more from Arizona soon. In the meantime, please hit the like button, please leave us a comment, and please also subscribe, right Sarah?
Yep, and after subscribing, select the bell for notifications of new videos.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. We'll see you again soon. Happy birding and bye for now.
Bye.